Hello everyone, Azzapp here and welcome to a very special video. The 100k subs Q&A, okay? This is an extremely special video where we do justice by this silver play button that's awarded for 100k subs. I realize we're a little bit past it right now. That's your fault though. You were not supposed to subscribe this much. We got way too many subs recently, so this was supposed to come out a little bit earlier, but unfortunate set of circumstances happened back to back. And today is also a special day because the last day before I go bold, tonight on stream I'm gonna go bold.
Zap.
Don't feed them. Holy, I'm an egg. This video is gonna go out after, so people are gonna be like, oh, I remember when he was like this, you know, when he had hair and skill. Let's start with the serious questions first. Do you want the maid skin for Vel'Koz? Yes. Cafe cuties, obviously. Okay, brilliant. Good question, good answer. That's what I love to see. How did you get to the point in your life where you have such a great attitude and perception towards the game and obstacles? What influenced you, what helped you, and how you learned it? I stopped playing the league with your shorts. Besides staying up and giving motivation. This is a very, very deep question. It's a good question. To some guy called Azzapp with 1p. How did we get anywhere? Like, I mean, it's just combination of like your environment, past experiences, genetics, and everything. That's the simplified version. The more complex version is I had like a reasonable childhood, I guess. I've seen the worst of humanity and the best of humanity, and the best of humanity, like ironically enough, shines throughout the worst times. So I did have some tough moments. I did have a bit of a rough neighborhood. I've seen all kinds of people. I've met them, and I don't know, it just, yeah, you adapt to what seems effective, and the effective version was having a good attitude. Also, it's partially because I'm just the type of personality. I really enjoy learning new stuff. I enjoy pretty much doing everything, which is also a bit of a double-edged sword, because then you don't know what you want to do. But yeah, I don't know, I don't think I can say anything smart on this one. A lot of difficult moments where they shape you, and like, the only way to move forward is having positive attitude, otherwise you don't move at all. So, there you go. I hope you do this Vel'Koz cosplay. I hope you do the Vel'Koz cosplay on the Q&A vid. Yeah, too late. My question is, do you have family? I have a slim family. I have very, very slim family at the moment. On my side, I only have my brother and my dad. That's about it. My mom died just over 2 years ago from cancer. It was like the worst year of my life. It was horrendous seeing something like that, but yeah, let's try to derail the video back, or let's try to bring it back on track, and not to have it a little bit like sad. So, but yeah, like when I was getting married to Naji, like her side family is like filled to the brim, and I can barely like muster 3 people. So it's a little bit slim, you know, slim pickings. Some well deserved. Some of the best shorts of the platform, so educational. Okay, keep it up, man. That's not a question, Mason1881. Okay. Do you watch competitive pro league? If so, what do you think about the format? Does it lack champs variety or suffers from too much repetitive methods? Well, there's like a lot of I explained in one of my recent shorts that repetitiveness and lack of variety is due to the constrictions of the job and lack of job security. So people aren't incentivized to experiment and try something different. That's obviously the case, partially. Partially is just the format. I think they're attempting like some sort of fearless variants now, so that's gonna shape things up and see how it goes. I definitely like to see more variety of champs, but I'm not sure if fearless is the right way to do it, because it might completely kill the quality of the games. But then again, the pro players, they might adapt very well to the fearless format, and it might bring like some of the best shows ever. So who knows? Who knows? We'll see. How's married life been so far? It's been great. Like I don't think anything really changes. Your life is the way you set it up, and a lot of people are like, oh, wait till you're married, wait till you do this, wait till you have kids, wait till like it's all gonna change. Nothing really changed for us particularly. We just moved in together, and like we fit very well together. Basically, just life is what you make it, you know. As long as you're honest with what you want, you communicate it, it's all gonna be good, and nothing radically changes. If you could completely rework one champion, who would it be and why? Maybe Vex. She was a bit of a disappointment compared to what she was supposed to be. I don't know, that would be good if she was a bit more artillery-oriented character. Bringing back old Zeds. I know it would be completely unfeasible in the current meta, but I love old Zeds. You've been popping up a lot lately. I like your articulate opinion and gameplay insight. Subscribe. Thank you very much. Battle Co-op. Still not a question, though. Do you have any advice for those going into content creation, specifically gaming on League? Do you think originality is important for that, or is it following trends? This is a very good question. Very interesting. Oh my god, I fucked it up. Never mind, we're back. Yeah, this is a very, very good question, right? So originality between chasing trends. So I'm gonna tell you something which you're not gonna like. Is basically, if you're already an established content creator, you tend towards conformity and chasing trends. It's the easiest way to stay afloat because the median viewer wants to see that. But if you're a new content creator, nobody wants to see you jumping on the same exact trends, because then you're just a nobody trying to ride the coattails, right? If you're a new guy, you have to be better than the established people. You have to be more original, you have to be more authentic, you have to have something new, some new flair, right? You can't just copy people. It's obviously favored towards like the more established people already in the scene, so that is a difficult part. But yeah, very, very good question. You go, Azzapp! What league when you're the only legend? Well done. Thank you, I appreciate it. Congrats on 100k soon, absolutely deserved. Yeah, it's gonna happen soon. You follow League's lore? If so, would you like Vel'Koz to play a bigger part? Well, I do follow League lore. Somewhat. I follow League lore somewhat. I bought this book a while ago. It's a brilliant book with a lot of art. Beautiful covers. A lot of League of Legends art. Very cool stuff. I love it. Would you like Vel'Koz to play a bigger part? Absolutely. Vel'Koz is just such an incredible character lore-wise. He has infinite scaling. He has philosophical implications about hunger for knowledge, how much knowledge can be attained, but by getting the knowledge you're also disintegrating stuff and learning from it. So like the more you learn, the more you destroy. So you would have this very nice philosophical curve of Vel'Koz. This was one of the ideas I had for a RTS game, League of Legends, which involved a kind of heavily story following around Vel'Koz, but you would play with different factions like Noxus, Demacia, and Void, but you will also have Shurima DLC and all that. Anyway, I think I explained this in one of my previous videos, but to cut things short, it would follow along this curve where Vel'Koz would be learning more and more, because his job is to release the Watchers, and to do that he's gonna like grow stronger and learn while disintegrating. But the more he does so, the more he learns, and the more he learns, the more he figures out that the ultimate conclusion of his achievements would be releasing the Watchers and destroying everything in existence, destroying the whole realm. Everything would become void, and there would be nothing more to do, nothing more to learn. So he would kind of have this like philosophical shift the more knowledge he gets, and then he would decide to kind of just coexist on the side and just not destroy everything. So it's very, very cool themes. But yeah, I would definitely love Vel'Koz to have more lore, because he's just incredibly cool character. I know you already stated that Yone should have energy. This is just one of the ideas. Just not, obviously you have to like flesh this out, but yeah, whatever. What I want to know, did you change your opinions? There's anything else to fix on your channels, or like yeah, like there's been fix on Yone like since he got released. Everyone knew this. Like literally every person who pays attention to this knew this. Put his E to be 3 seconds level 1, and then scale it to 5 on scaling. That's it. Like level 13 he gets the teamfight spike, but he doesn't abuse the period where he's supposed to be weak in the game, and that would negate all the lethal tempo and like all of the bullshit, whatever. I subscribe, love watching your videos. Positive changes you're bringing just shows how much the community impacts the game and how one person can influence. My question is, do you think your efforts will result in long-term change? Well, they might not in the in-game. In the overall grand scheme of things in world, I'm a big believer and I'm a big proponent of the butterfly effect and the ripple effect. I do believe truly one person can make a change. And I think the biggest example of that for me personally is somebody like Carl Sagan. Because learning about Carl Sagan has changed my life, quite literally. And I'm not the only one. Millions of people have had their lives changed by a singular person. And that sort of ripple effect is just phenomenal. And I do believe as long as you're a very honest, inquisitive person and try to bring like positive and like you're trying to look out for every aspect of humanity, try to get us move forward, you can actually like enact some sort of change. How big that change is, it's impossible to tell, but I truly do believe that the ripple effect, as you can see in League of Legends, like one positive attitude can spark multiple ones, because people realize it's just obviously a good choice. And it's more enjoyable, and it's better in the long term no matter what. So yeah, I don't know. I truly hope I do have like even a fragment of the change like the greats like Carl Sagan did have. What was a champion that you thought you love playing and ended up being very opposite Vex? Again. Because she was aimed to be one thing. She was aimed to be this like a sort of mage artillery kind of character, but she ended up being nothing but stat check. Right? She was stat check character, and she got nerfed after release. She was kind of good. With the old reset, I made some pentakills like basically on the first day. It was very, very cool character. But yeah, the more you learn about it, the more it's just stat check and just there's less, way less depth in Vex playstyle compared to something like Vel'Koz. Yeah, I think the champion requires more mastery, more skill curve, more in-depth stuff, because everything about her relies well. Like, can you one-shot? Yes. Can you land your ult? That's it. Do you miss playing champions other than Vel'Koz, or completely fine being an OTP? Well, I'm technically not an OTP, as you might have seen in the tournament. I do play other champs. I can perform on them. I just choose to play Vel'Koz because I enjoy Vel'Koz very much. Do I miss playing other champs? Yes. I miss a million things. I miss the things I've never even tried in my life. I want to do so many things. It's just there's just not enough time. If I don't play Vel'Koz and play something else, I will enjoy it, but I will probably not enjoy it as much as playing Vel'Koz. So I'm just trying to min-max my experience. I do love a healthy balance between both, but I obviously will focus in favor a bit Vel'Koz a bit more. I'm just interested in too many things, but there's just only so much time in a day. Long time coming, congrats in advance. Do you have any advice on staying consistent about playing League? Consistent about playing League is consistent about anything in life, really. You need consistent schedule, you need to be in homeostasis, you need to be a very well-adjusted person, which means good sleep, good workout, health, good food, and then your body's not gonna fluctuate that much chemically speaking, so you will not like very like crazy between day to day, right? And pro players know this. They have personal trainers, they have chefs, they take very good care of them, because mental health is extremely important. I think it's still even not like emphasized as much as it should be and could be in pretty much any competitive scene. But yeah, that should be a big part of it. That's how you stay consistent, and also like being extremely tyrannical on your own worst plays, because the consistency is created by rooting out your worst plays. Like, doesn't matter if you're 0-3, like the way you play that game out is extremely indicative of what your worst performance is. So to fix your average, the best thing you can do is to fix your worst performances, right? Because boosting up your top performances is very difficult, but rooting out your worst ones is a lot simpler. That's what you gotta focus on. I've been watching for so long and I still remember you switched to English, so I was wondering, was there any difficulty with Dota when you did so? This is a great question. Very old viewer, I'm presuming, because I did that in 2017 in April, I believe. And this was the most difficult decision I've ever done in my like career, right? In my online sphere. Because if you guys don't know, in 2016 I was streaming in Bosnian, in my native language. I was streaming like that. I was developing this community, and there's a couple of unfortunate circumstances that happens when you do so, right? And I wanted to go international for multiple reasons. One of which is just, this is not to throw shade on like the local community. It's basically just that majority of the people who watch local non-English streamers, because you're choosing from a pool, much smaller pool of audience, the majority of the people do not know English, right? Because if they knew English, they would likely watch the other streamers who are better and more established. So what happens is there's this Venn diagram of people who do not speak English and people who are young, right? Because a lot of young people don't speak English. So when you stream on native language, you end up with a younger audience, and it's a lot more difficult to have meaningful conversations. They're much more scarce. You would have these like classic Balkanic stream hopping, instigating, trying to create like drama, farming, all of that. I just didn't enjoy that community. I couldn't find myself in that, and this was the toughest decision I ever made, because you obviously have to shave your audience. Like, I went from like 100 viewers consistent to like 30, 25, because a lot of people don't speak English, right? But it was very difficult also after. You gotta keep explaining that every day you gotta keep explaining what you're doing and why you're doing it. And eventually I do believe it's worth it, because I've reshaped the community in a way where I love pressing start stream. I love interacting with my community. I feel so open. I feel like we can talk about anything, and I think that's part of the charm that people enjoy, that we can actually go and talk about different things depending on what you're in the mood that day, what you're enjoying. And I just love this community. Azzapp, your content always are gonna make me more confident in my picks and plays. I went from being AD carry, playing Fiora, Fix Yone, still this sense playing Ezreal every day, because a champion I love and I can actually play well. But looking at my performance, I have a question. How can you keep consistent and perform well most of the time? How do you focus on the right things? Well, we talked about the same thing, but to reiterate, how do you focus on the right things is make sure you're not violating any core rules. This is like what always would call like fundamentals, right? If you're playing the game sound and reasonably, if you're not forcing when the wave state is bad for you, if you're not forcing when there's a mirror play happening, your team is forcing top side, you do not force bottom side. If you're not doing any of these core violations of gameplay, you're gonna do well no matter what. You can be mechanically like complete dog shit. You can be missing every minion, you can be misplaying every sequence, but as long as you're not making any of these like crucial mistakes, you'll do fine. So focus on those first, and then eventually eventually everything will just build on top of it. I love your content, just realized 1 subscribes. There's a few questions. What are your thoughts on Skarner rework? I love the Skarner rework. I love what they've done with him. They just made him a little bit too broken, so kind of hard to deal with. They should kind of tweak him so he's playable but not too broken, right? He does far too much damage. He's got a lot of undodgeable long-range poke for no reason, right? If you could organize a game between any league countries, who would you place in each team to provide the best viewing experience? I don't know. This is too deep. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see your channel in 5 years? That's... bro's going really deep with these questions. I don't know. I love what I do, and I want to do this for as long as possible. I obviously have different things in mind. When I'm traveling and I'm bored, I'll be writing in a notepad a little bit, just my thoughts on random things. So in the long-term future, I would eventually like to publish a video game that like I've kind of been writing for a while. I have a collaborative idea with my brother as well. Like, we've been planning it for a really long time, but we're both like extremely busy with the full-time work, and he has a daughter, and it's just kind of impossible to get to it. But eventually, like, that's one of the plans, right? I definitely like to partake in publishing a video game. I definitely want to publish a book if possible, if people care about such a thing. That would be like an interesting thing, you know. What do you think about Emerald Elo? Just like any Elo, like the fact that we put name Emerald in front of it, it's just, it's nothing. It's just an abstraction. You're just referring to the one subset of people on the ladder. If you don't name it, it has no power essentially, because it's just one part of the ladder, you know? I think Emerald is a big deal, mostly optically, because it was just, okay, it's like Emerald Elo has been released recently. It's like it's gonna slot in right in between there, and people are like, some people are like, this Elo is too easy. Some people are like, this Elo is hell. But it's just Diamond Light, that's it, simple as that. What did you change in Vel'Koz kit? I preferably wouldn't change anything, but if I had to, I would give him probably like execution on Q based on distance or missing health, or interaction with how you proc the true damage to increase even more skill expression, right? If you proc with W, you get movement speed. If you proc with E, you get like root or grounded. If you proc with Q, you get execute, or whatever. If you proc with ult, you get AoE or boom, whatever, you know. Cool ideas. He's a man, hardworking. Loser queue is still a thing, though. I don't see any convincing evidence, but you're welcome to believe what you want. Looking forward for more awesome content. Thank you. A lot of people don't have much time to play League because of obligations, but want to rank up and get progressively better, hope and achieve high elo. In my case, master. What would your advice be to kind of people and how to manage the time that they can? This is a tough one. Like, master elo is semi-competitive elo. It's hard to be a casual and be in master, unless you've already like been in master before. What I would advise to you is like the most efficient thing you can do is basically play, if you believe in your skill, play the highest impact champion slash role combination possible, right? So you play the one-man army champs in the top lane. You play the hard carry, like early junglers that can actually scale. You play crazy impact roamer support like Pike Bard. Abuse like the most effective metas right now, like Tristana mid, right? Like that's what you would do. That's how you climb in the shortest amount of time, by playing the most effective strategies that have the highest impact, which means you significantly lower the number of games you have to play to reach your true elo. What elo did you start? Season 1, I played about 10 ranked games because I just leveled up 30 before the end of the season. I played 10 games. I ended up 1200 elo, which is bronze. I played Garen, I played Akali and everything. What's the best skin visually? Because obviously, I like Arclight. Arclight is just the cleanest Vel'Koz skin. What country do you call home? The Earth! I'm from Bosnia and Herzegovina. What's your favorite rotating game mode? Axe game mode, Earth, I don't know, what's TT? I think PV events were probably the best in League. And like in its entirety of League, like the PV events, the Doom bots, the Odyssey, working with your teammates to overcome like some incredibly difficult game, like Doombots on the hardest difficulty is so much fun because you have to plan with your team and like kind of do these ideas. The only problem is like replayability with those. I like the Thresh Hook War, Darkstar, whatever the name was, which is basically like a ripoff of Pudge Wars from Dota. But I love that one. GG Azzapp, if for some reason gets deleted tomorrow, what other okay, I guess League it gets. What other competitive games you play? I'm a competitive person by nature. If I do something, I want to be really good at it, which is why I refuse to attempt a lot of different things, because I don't have time to get good at them. So, if there's no League as a time constraint, then I would make content probably, unless there's like a new hype MOBA or whatever, like that I can sink my time in, get good at it, and also create content. I'd probably be doing challenge runs slash speed runs of stuff like Souls games, like Slay the Spire, you know, Hades, roguelikes, and Souls games, something like that. With content creation being a major part of your focus when playing the game, have you found that you lost any previous enjoyment you had? That's a very, very good question. Do you feel that League has shifted? Definitely. You will feel this shift even if you don't create content, if you just play the game for a while. Like when you start the game, you get enjoyment from novelty. Playing Twisted Tree Line with your friends, playing Nasus, and even don't know what the hell the character does, playing Singed random shit, you know? And like that sort of stuff gives you enjoyment. The more you play, the more you start gaming, right? Like you're gaming the system, you're falling more into the meta, and you derive more enjoyment from winning and getting better than actual novelty, because the novelty dries up because there's nothing new happening, right? Except for like from patch to patch and the new seasons. So that's how it shifts. And then when you make content creation, you also shift a lot to the communication with the chat, how productive and interesting the chat section is, like how fun you feel like the stream was for your audience. You derive enjoyment from that sort of stuff. And a League can shift to a job. Before going to Korea here and like last year, my best month was 2020 May, where I worked every day 12 hours minimum every single day, 31 days. So I would wake up, make YouTube videos, check emails, do the whole shebang, then I would live stream, then I would finish, then I would like edit something, render, upload, you know, like 12 hours every single day. By the end of the month, I burnt out so much that when I would woke up, I just felt like a robot with nothing going on. Everything felt the same. And it felt like a real job, which was the antithesis of what streaming is. It's not freedom. It wasn't freedom. It wasn't interaction with the community. I was starting to game the system, you know, just trying to go for the numbers and everything. And even though it was the best month for years in my career, I hated it. I burnt out so hard. I took a break, and that's when I decided to have Variety Friday, where we're gonna play variety games and play something I really want to enjoy, and just to kind of break the monotony of it, right? And yeah, that's how I instilled those rules. What dude, how long have you had channel running? Since 2011. To give you some glimpse of how far away that was. That's when my hard drive was 40 gigabytes. I could only record one game at a time with fraps before my hard drive is full. I would edit that in Movie Maker immediately. I would render it in Movie Maker, and then I would leave it to the video, that's a 5-minute video, to upload overnight because my upload was so shit. So it would take 12 hours to upload. That's when I started. So 2011. Did Maid Vel'Koz have a rework same level as Skarner? No, not really. But yeah, if we want changes, the ones I mentioned earlier. Do you think when each other champion release, champion identity becomes more and more clouded? I mean, champions starting to be feast or famine with their identities nowadays. Example, yes, I agree. For champions to become more and more competitive, you gotta create more and more into their kits. Their kits become more and more overloaded. Specialized champions do not work unless their specialty is too damn good, but then they get nerfed and then they fall into niche. Eventually, all champs will have everything. I like your opinion never FFing, and I adopted it about half a year ago. My question is if you have the same opinion on dodging. Emo dodging is very important to have, but nowadays very unforgiving, even if your whole team trolls and champs like. So my question is, it's not unforgiving enough in my opinion. This is one of the unpopular opinions I have, and it falls along the category of worse short term, better long term. I think removing dodging would have huge implications on the game quality in the long term. I could go more in depth, but for the sake of this video, we're not going to go into dodging. I made previous videos about dodging entirely, giving my full reasoning why I think it's really, really bad for the game. But yeah, favorite fantasy series? I heard you mention Brandon Sanderson. Well, I've read Mistborn. I really enjoy Mistborn. That's also been because it's been suggested to me by my audience, because they were like badgering me about Brandon Sanderson. And when I was in Belgrade for like this event that I was hosting, like sponsored event, I was there and I went to the bookstore because Belgrade has really good bookstores. I went in, I was like, and then I asked the girl at the counter, like, do you have anything from Brandon Sanderson? Because I remember the name because you guys asked me, then I got into Mistborn. But my favorite fantasy series would be Dune. I absolutely adore Dune. It's my favorite book, 1965 Dune. Good luck and keep up the good work. Thank you if you could design a champion for a league. What would it have / be? It would be a crazy artillery mage, a mixture of Vel'Koz, Zerath, Ancient Apparition from Dota, Invoker sort of stuff. So yeah. Where'd you grow up and what shaped your love for video games, League specifically? I grew up in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I was born at the end of the war, basically. So everything was rubble when I was born. I was growing up, things start to rebuild. Video game is a good pastime. It's a good side thing to kind of enjoy. The entire street would eventually like get one CD, and then you would like burn that CD and pass it around so everyone would play the same video game at the same time. Video games taught me English, essentially. I learned English through RuneScape when I played, because that's the first game where, like, I played a bunch of games before that, but that's the first game where you actually had to communicate with other people to achieve anything before the exchange, the grand exchange. You would actually have to type what you wanted, and you would have to type what you're selling, so you would communicate with people, and that's a good way to learn English as a kid, right? I always enjoy video games. Having like your own closed off worlds with their own internal logic that somebody created, how creative they can get with it, is just fascinating to me. It's absolutely fascinating, and it's like not been exhausted yet. There's so much more to be done in video games. I would draw video games when I was a kid. My brother was 4 years older than me, so he would be drawing comic books. I would imitate him, so I would be drawing comic books, but I tended more towards video games, so I would draw video games a lot as a kid. I'll just show you like some. These are like 20 years old, basically. Like, I'd be drawing video games that nobody ever got to play, right? It's just, you're drawing video games, there's like some sort of rules. Look at that. Like, you're drawing whatever, you know, like some mages. I don't even know how old I was. Like, what the hell is that, man? There's just so many more. What is this? It's like some sort of comic book there. And I like, the worst part is like we tossed a lot of these. This is, I think, Quake clone. I was a big fan of Quake 2 from PlayStation. I loved Quake, Doom, id Software games, and there's a good reason why. Those games have reshaped what video games are, essentially inventing the FPS genre and kickstarting everything, right? Like pretty much everything happened because of John Carmack from id Software creating like the first 3D engine. Look at this, it's like items. It's like items. This is like clearly a RuneScape clone, right? Very, very influenced by RuneScape. I don't even know. That's like some sort of skill tree. So it's like a mixture of like Morrowind and Gothic, and you know. But yeah, like there's so many more of these, and like a lot of them are also tossed out, sadly. But yeah, I love video games. I don't even know exactly what drew me to them. I just enjoyed perfecting something, beating it, and then also that creativity part and the narrative, the experience. It's just a medium to consume, like books, like TV shows. But it's the most immersive medium there is, because you're the driver of the narrative. Hey, what's up? My name is Emerald Elo. Do you have any tip for climbing as a pure tank main? Emerald, I can't seem to carry any games. I do well. What team does it? What am I supposed to do? Change some carry champs? I mean, they're like, I'm suggesting watch a lot of tank players. Like somebody like Macro gets Challenger in Korea by playing nothing but Ornn, essentially. So how does he do it? I'm assuming it's less about the micro mechanics, more about the macro and how you utilize your tankiness, where you choose to invest your time, how you're focusing the game around the win conditions. And those are like invisible things. When you're watching somebody, that's like invisible. If you don't understand what you're looking for, you will not know. You would just think, oh, he's just fighting here. Oh, he's just fighting here. Oh, now he's just fighting here. I do the fighting. Why am I not winning, right? But he's choosing the fights more efficiently. He's choosing the fights that are going to be beneficial for him in the long term, based on levels, based on items, experience, wave states, dragon spawn timers, herald grubs, like teams, win cons, all of that, right? If you possess infinite knowledge about the game, it's impossible for you not to climb no matter what. So you get Challenger and everything. Any tips to carry Silver Elo? I used to play normal discussion with friends since we were around 17, 18 people, then recently decided to push rank. Play Skarner, very easily get Silver 1-2. I'm stuck. I mostly go 10-20 kills every game of jungle main. This is what I was in Season 2. I was, because Zeds came out, I had 42-19 score on Zeds in ranked, which was a lot of games at the time, because I didn't play it like today. It wasn't content creation. I felt like I was god at the game. I would read people, I would land skill shot, I was naturally good at that. I would beat them, but I didn't understand the game. I didn't know how to convert that into wins. Pre-season 3, I started watching competitive, and that's when it all clicked. I understood how to convert my advantages, my winning the lane, into actually winning the game. And that's the big sort of missing link. And you only learn that by either excessive amount of gameplay, but now it's why would you do that when there's so much content out there, both professional and streamers and educational content on how to do that. It's just pointless for you to learn it the hard way empirically. So yeah, I'd suggest try to think about the game as a whole instead of just your own route and jungling and how to maximize yourself and get ahead. Gold 4 top main. Been playing consistently for a year of 3 champs. I feel comfortable. I feel like I know the micro parts of the game, like trading, wave management, recall times, but I struggle with macro, example of being roam. What is the most effective source of knowledge to turn to so I can learn more about the macro? I think pro play. You can reverse engineer a lot of knowledge from pro play. Like, maybe not the exact maneuvers, but the general principles of why they focus where, what's happening, the numbers, the power plays, the swaps, and all of that. Favorite combo of pizza toppings? Pizza with mayo, boys. Yeah, I don't know. Like, my default would be like the Bosnian capricciosa pizza, which is basically like the tomato sauce, cheese, turkey, ham, and mushrooms, and then you'd put maybe a little bit of ketchup if it's like a good one, or you put a little bit of mayo on top. That's kind of like the default. Can't go wrong with it. This is a weird one. The best way to counter certain champs with effect or stats. I think it just depends on the champion. Like, sometimes effect like Sonya's can be game breaking, but sometimes just raw stats are gonna be good. It really depends on the situation. Brenzy is doing God's work on the channel. How much time do you dedicate daily on Twitch streams compared to making YouTube content? Is it 50-50? It used to be a bigger split. Nowadays I focus more on management, communication, which direction we're going, what videos we're doing, what's happening. But the YouTube side of things, I'm not doing too much now. I used to do everything, but now I just focus more on streaming, making sure I'm in a good mood. I'm doing the best possible thing I can on stream, doing the research of what we're gonna do, what's gonna happen, and then just kind of communicating what we do after. But yeah, I have a good team of people helping me with the content. Star Guardian Wave would be kind of cool. What are your thoughts on Riot balancing? Do they actually do a good job on it? Yes, I think they do a pretty damn good job. Do you think they intentionally keep champs strong when releasing a skin? I think that's definitely like, with the amount of times we've seen champion get buffed and then have a skin release, it's hardly a coincidence. Now, we can argue which happened first. Maybe they decide to do a buff and then tag a skin along on top of it, or they've done doing a skin and then they tag a buff on top of it. Either way, it's been known to happen. But yeah, I think overall they're doing a great job balancing, because there's 160 champions. The game has been lasting for, what is it, season 14? 14 years. Like, that's a decade and a half, and this game is still, like, on top. And it's been on top since season 2. So I don't know what to tell you. They're definitely doing things well. There's obvious mistakes, and because I'm very, very involved and invested in the game, I'll obviously be passionate about certain mistakes when they do them, and I'm going to call them out. But you're always going to find mistakes. Anyone who works makes mistakes. Would you rather fight 10 Zeds that are size of lore accurate Twitch, or one human-sized Twitch? Neither of them will use any weapons. Oh my god. I don't know, 10 Zeds. Hopefully they can't do shadows. Try to kick him. Hell yes, brother! Get that shit. Gotta reach the goal Azzapp as possible. True. Do you have a rule or principle you always try to go by in real life? Oh, that's a tough one. How do you surmise everything you do in like one rule? I don't know. I try to be uncompromising in my approach in a lot of things, like morally and ethically speaking. Then you're building on top of that, then you're trying to like look for like the best possible future for you and everyone else around you, like in the ripple sort of effect. Like, what decision am I gonna do now that's gonna be the best possible life for me in a couple of years, and then the best possible life for my community, and the best possible for my city, and the best possible for like my country and for the world, like humanity and everything. So I don't know. Sounds weird, but yeah. If Vel'Koz was not a big part of your identity, would you swap him for another control mage? But I mean, I love Vey. It's just that I'm the Vel'Koz guy. I love Vel'Koz. If Vel'Koz wasn't such a big part, he would always be a part, because I personally just click with Vel'Koz. If he didn't exist, then yeah. What's your opinion on Riot seemingly supporting toxicity in their community by only superficially making changes that make the game more toxic? I would need specific example. Something that makes the game more toxic. I would need specific example to answer this. You look like a workout. What's your routine? I don't know. I just work out when I can. It's for health reasons. I just want to be in good health and shape, because my job demands that I sit a lot per day, and sitting is about the worst thing you can do for your heart and your body, because humans are evolutionarily not designed for sitting. You're walking, running, or sleeping, right? Sitting is a whole new thing. Favorite exercise? I don't know, some of like the natural ones, we call them, right? When you just do stuff with your body. It's done, boss! My favorite combo. I mean, QR, nothing beats the elegance of a nicely landed QR. When it all clicks, it's so beautiful. Favorite bands. I just saw Avenged Sevenfold basically like 2 weeks ago, and it's been so incredible. That's a great band. Like, they've evolved tremendously since the early days, and like the sort of Metallica-esque rip-off into their own identity, and just their pieces fit so well right now. Like they got an incredible new drummer, Brooks Wackerman. That's one of the favorite, like Strokes, with the genuine slash Voids, with the genuine artist that is Julian Casablancas, the weirdo. But all true artists are weirdos, right? And Poets of the Fall has been one of my favorite bands since like 2010, 11. So, seen them twice live, incredible. Better live than studio version. I don't know how that's possible, but yeah. Maid Vel'Koz cosplay, we kinda have done it. There's some stuff. Which champion would you delete if you had... Do you have ideas for a new one? I mean, again, ideas for Artillery Mage. What champ would you delete? No idea. Which one would I say would piss off the most people? Kiana? Yone? Let's go with Yone. What schools did you finish? I finished like the gymnasium, high school, and then I finished IT university programming. Growing solid beard? I cannot grow a solid beard. Would you like to become actually crazy famous person like Tyler or something? No. No. What's your main motivation to make such content of League community, chill and everything? Keep going, buddy. It's inspirational. Thank you. I mean, it's not like I'm trying deliberately to change the community and like have these like movements. I just have certain opinions which I regard highly because I try to attack them in my own head multiple times. And the more I do so, the more those opinions get solidified. And if they're solid enough, I'll contest the opinion. Like, even if the majority of the player base is against me on like autofill, on dodging, on surrendering, and all of that, like, if I feel like my reasoning is solid enough, until proven otherwise, I'll trust myself. We're playing some Dota? Yes, now we're gonna try Dota. Do you miss streaming in our mother tongue? Maybe a little bit, but not that much. I thoroughly enjoy streaming right now. I love what the community is. It's definitely where I want it to be and more, so not particularly, no. Favorite cheese? Mozzarella! How many digits of pi do you know by heart? 3.14, 159, 265, 358, 979, 323, 84. That's good enough to calculate the circumference of the universe, of the known visible universe, like within a couple of meters. So precision. I think that's good enough. So let's pretend you're a type of person that doesn't answer questions on stream. What? Yeah. I usually answer pretty much every question. It's kind of rare for like high Elo players, but I'm addicted to reading chat, so. But yeah, this is just like a special occasion, you know. As a challenge, it would be cool if your community decides on the worst champ in the game and doing a challenge to climb. It said worst champ to masters. Oh, that's because I said that you can get any champ to masters. This would be a good fun challenge, honestly. Like, if community has this like one character that's like by far considered the worst, then I get master on it. I do entirely believe it's possible. And if I were to fail, it's because I suck. Would you ever try to spread your vision in the game, other service? Yeah, again, like I'm not like Dune Messiah. I'm not this messianic prophetic figure. I'm telling you, I just have beliefs, and they tend to be firm because I tend to be rigorous of how I arrive at them. I just speak my mind, and people resonated with it because it was in due time. The community was becoming too toxic, and now it's rubber banding in the other direction, and people were ready. They were primed for this sort of position, so it's not like I do this on purpose. I was just there at the right time, and like it all clicked and sparked the fire. What would you be doing for a living if you were in the streamer, and how's life going right now? Because I have an IT degree, because of my love for video games, so I originally wanted to be a video game designer. And I have like really big passion for video game design. I love analyzing games, I love understanding games, I love playing games. What would I be doing? Probably some programming job until I develop enough name so I can become like a senior or whatever, then start my own game company, I guess. Horror games challenge. This is fun. I love horror games. Playing Amnesia: The Dark Descent and Outlast were some of the most like fun gaming memories. I absolutely adore those games. We did stream the Amnesia Rebirth. We did stream after the Outlast 2. We did do a lot of streams here and there. Right? I'm watching this 2019. You've been playing Vel'Koz since then, no matter what the meta was. True. My question is, you ever had the idea to just drop Vel'Koz, look for another champ? Okay, so Vel'Koz was getting worse and worse and worse. So if you look at the graph on Vel'Koz, you'll see the pick rate and win rate are all steadily going downwards. And I alerted to this like multiple times. I made multiple big tweets saying like, if it continues like this, Vel'Koz will soon be unplayable. And I regarded that the time has come, that it's basically was there. And that's when it was like 44% win rate, even though he's like a naturally 50% win rate champ. Like his design funnels you towards 50%. He's not high impact, and for him to be 44% is criminal. So I made some tweets, and then 5-6 months later, after those tweets, we've seen the complete implosion to the point where no Vel'Koz player wanted to play. People were struggling so hard that me as like the face of Vel'Koz and the representative, I was forced kind of to run the boycott so we can pull even more attention to Vel'Koz until he gets a little bit buffed. So there were certainly times where I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I playing this? Nobody plays this champ. Nobody cares about him. Half the people that like watch me don't even understand the character. They don't understand the quality of certain plays. Because when you make a Vel'Koz play, people will notice the end product. I one-shot a Vladimir with a full combo and people are like, wow, you just one-shot a Vladimir, your champ is just broken. But they don't understand that for that to happen, I had to manipulate him, fish for a combo to bait out his pool, fish for a combo in the next 20-second time frame to bait out his flash, then fish for a combo, bait him, read him, punish him, poke him down so he's lethal to force a pool. And then after that pool, you can actually go for the punishing play, which is the 4th subsequent play that you have to do, right? And people don't see the sequence that leads up to it. They don't see the movements, the patterns, because they don't play the game enough, and the average player just doesn't play that much, which is fair. But it's very unrewarding, and nobody cares about the champ. The champ is weak as hell, and it felt like I'm shooting myself in the foot. It was like the opposite approach. You're trying to do content creation for a living. You're trying to, because you love doing so. You want to do this sort of stuff, but you're choosing the worst possible champion. He's not super flashy. He's not superficial. He's not even strong. He's never gonna be meta because he's a mage that's stronger by default in competitive than solo queue. So if he's ever meta in solo queue, he's going to be broken in competitive. So it much like Orianna, right? You're never going to see Orianna that's going to be like dominating the ladder in solo queue for a really long time, because she's going to be pick or ban in competitive, and then she gets nerfed. And also she's been like a household name for a really long time as well, so she kind of gets buffs before Worlds occasionally, so she's playable. But like Vel'Koz, just he's never going to be in that state. It's just the literal worst champion you can choose to make content on. Right? Like if you choose Yumi, you can make a meme content. Vel'Koz is just sad in that sort of deal. And there were definitely moments where I was very doubtful and then like thinking, maybe I should just pick something else and just move a little bit more towards mainstream so I can achieve a little bit more popularity, so I can live life, you know, comfortably. And I never did it. I enjoyed it too much, and I felt like if I compromise myself and I try to delve into something else, I become more of my persona than me. Then I enjoy what I'm doing less. And even though the end product might be better for me, like financially speaking, I didn't think it was worth sacrificing. So yeah, I think that's about it, man. These are all the questions, pretty much. Yeah, we got to the end. Nothing too crazy. I think a lot of them will now start repeating themselves as well. That's the Q&A. That's the Q&A. I did it single take. I don't know. I don't think we're ever gonna reach 1 million. I mean, I said that about 100k, but I don't think we're ever going to the gold play button. Life is good. Life is good, chat. Live it, enjoy it, do what you want to do. Don't let people tell you what you can and cannot do, because this is something that pretty much nobody believed that I could pull off from this country. So yeah, I'm super proud of where I am. I'm absolutely blessed to have you as my community. I love making content. I love turning stream on every single day and being here, and like even when I'm not in a physical position to be able to stream, I'm always on Discord, I'm always reading comments, I'm always engaging with it. I read literally every single comment even now, which is just absurd, but it's so time consuming at this point due to all the shorts. I still love doing it. Believe in yourself, believe in the ripple effect. We all matter. There's impact we can have, so stay true to yourself. I don't know, cheesy inspirational shit. Not even lads. Can't win, never FF. I'll see you in the next one, and bye bye. I will be bold.